Hi, welcome back. This is Juanica with My Hero's Journey, and I'm going to talk to you about the road back. So here is where I have talked, or people were talking to me and expressing to me that I needed to go ahead and just share my story and start speaking about the things that have impacted me that will impact others. I believe it really first started with Chanel Cooper Sykes because in 2009 when I first separated, I had came to a point where I told God, if you help me get rid of this junk in my heart and my mind, that I'll share my story so that any other girls would not go through this, and that I could help heal marriages and talk to women about the issues that they are facing in their marriage. And I stumbled across this video by Chanel Cooper Sykes, and this is in 2009, and I loved her message, and it was just like, wow, I need more of her. I need to hear more. And in one of them, she was talking about vision boards, and that we needed to visualize our dreams and goals, and put them on a board so we could see them and be reminded of them, and as we move towards those things, that we can start checking things off, saying, I've accomplished these things. And then as I started moving and transitioning, creating mission statements, declaring what I was going to be, that I was going to start, with my businesses and just be a big figure and be successful and, have great children, and, that they're going to be successful and well educated and things like that. Like, I was speaking life over myself. In that process, a friend of mine who was my co-worker, I was sharing some of the things that I had learned along the way. She said, you need to write a book. And I said, no. And she said, yes, you do. It's like, no, I don't need to write a book. I'm good talking to you. It's just like you're being selfish. You're keeping all that great knowledge and wisdom that you have in your head to yourself. And at that point, I was just like, ouch, that hurt. Like, I felt convicted. It was just like, okay, maybe I need to write a book. And so I sat down and was just like prayerful. And I was just like, Lord, if this is what you want me to do, I need to show me how to start this, because I don't know the first thing about writing a book. And he led me to see that I had already started. I had a journal that I was keeping up with, and that as I was writing it out, I realized that I had changed some of my viewpoints since then, and so I was reflecting on what I had written out. Thus the book, Reflections Is That Me, came out and got published. And then shortly after that, I started realizing that I wanted to be a speaker, and that I was going to be lifted to a platform of helping people and sharing my life in order to bring people out of that darkness and out of despair. I started having a burden for people who seemed lost and frustrated and depressed, and wanting to see them happy. I wanted to see them have joy, even in my friends and my family. Like, I just wanted them to be healed from an emotional standpoint. And as I would talk to people, especially the young girls in my youth group, and hearing the lies that were spoken to them, that they needed to be with a guy to be happy, or they needed to sleep with a guy in order to be in a relationship. And these things were weighing on my heart because of the fact that those are the things that was embedded in me that I used to believe. And so I realized that I wanted to share my story to save people, to help them come out of that darkness, out of those clouds, out of the lies and deception, to give them a sense of peace and to teach them how to stay in peace, how to stay in joy. Because me just encouraging them, that'll help for just a small amount of time, but it's up to them to be able to maintain and lift themselves up. What are you doing to get out of that funk? What are you doing? What's going on? Are you listening to music? Like, what do you enjoy doing? If you're in a negative place, run to those things that bring you joy. Run to those things that bring you peace, so that you can start to shape your mindset where you're coming out of that thing. And so it was just like, me speaking to these people, I went to my pastor, Pastor Brian, at Kings Park, and share with them that I felt led to start speaking on videos and just posting them on YouTube. And I shared with him the messages that I was writing out, and he was just like, go for it. And even when I was asked to come pray over one of my young girl mentors, mentees that I used to mentor at the Life Center, pray over her sister's home, you know, while I was there praying for them, they just had all these questions about God and dreams and how do you hear from God and how do you know what your purpose is. And I was just like, maybe we need to have a book Bible study. And so I went to my pastor again, and I was just like, what do you think about me doing this? And they were like, yes, that's what disciple making is all about. And I was just like, okay, because I was wondering, like, I'm not ordained, I'm not a minister, I'm just Juanica. And they were like, you know, by all means, that's what we're called to do as Christians. Once you learn, you teach others. And he said the only criteria that is needed is that what you're teaching them, you've already accepted and learned yourself. You just have to be one step ahead of where they are. And it's just like, oh, okay, well, I can do that. And, you know, my mom and, you know, my family, those people who have stood by me, they believed in me. You know, the poetry that I've written, they believe that it's going to be, and even foretold that it was going to be plastered up on somewhere big and that people are going to know it. And it's just like, okay. So these people were speaking over me saying, you're going to be on a platform. In one form or another, they just kept saying that to me over and over again. And then as I just believed it and accepted it, I began to venture out and start preparing myself, reading, understanding. Now, I don't take speech. I've taken a speech class in college as a requirement, but I hated standing up and talking in front of people. But me being a leader at the Life Center, it prepared me. Me leading these Bible studies, that prepared me. Every little step of the way that I was being brought into certain assignments, it was preparing me for speaking in front of people. So that's the road back. That, you know, what that happened. The Jarvis family, you know, Mavette, Augustine, my friends that, you know, that just really came and was just like seeing these things in me. My best friend for life, Keisha, you know, she just, you know, they just kept believing in me and pouring into me. You know, people at church called me mighty woman of God, seeing things in me. You know, even when I was at the church, there was a leaders meeting, and I just went to go talk to my lead pastor because I had a dream and he was in it. I wanted some understanding as to what it meant. And he called me a leader. He knew my name. And it just like took me aback, like, you know me? Because I belong to a large church. And it's like, he's like, of course I do. And it's just like, wow, okay. So I'm not just a little minuscule person, obscure. I'm actually being seen, unknowns to me, that my life, the light that I have within me is being recognized and seen, not because I'm trying to show it, but because God is in there and He's broadcasted it. And it's just like, okay, wow. And so I'm going to talk about the resurrection in my next chapter, which is, you know, the next challenge I faced as I began to accept this platform. What's going to happen next? Am I ready for this? So just stay tuned and I will expound more on that in the next video. Again, my name is Juanica Thomas and this is my hero's journey.